This video is here to help you with the assembly and mounting of your new SnowSport HD plow. You'll need a receiver plow mount hitch installed on your vehicle before starting the plow assembly. Follow the written instructions in the mount kit for your particular model of truck. To assemble and mount your SnowSport HD, start with a quick inventory check. Use the parts diagram that came with your kit to become familiar with the pieces. Next, you'll want to gather the tools shown on the list. Now make sure your vehicle is parked on a level grade and you're ready to get started. The first piece we'll mount is the interceptor. Make sure the set collar is loose. Then slide the interceptor into the receiver hitch and secure it with a pin. There are several holes to choose from to secure it. Just make sure you leave enough room between the bumper and the interceptor to allow for the blade to angle when it's mounted. If you need to, you can adjust this later. Slide the set collar forward and secure it with the set screw. Insert 2 bolts into the push frame. Then mount it to the interceptor. Again, you'll notice there are several mounting holes to choose from. The objective is to have the push frame about 8 to 10 inches above the ground. Loosely mount the push frame into the interceptor. Then measure both sides for accuracy. If you're within 8 to 10 inches, you can add the rest of the bolts, but only tighten them to a snug fit for now. Use a bubble level to check and make sure the push frame is vertical. If you need to make an adjustment, simply loosen the bolts and add the provided shims. Now you can tighten all 4 bolts. Use the 2x4 blocks to prop up the bottom part of the aluminum blade. Then insert the rubber blade into the channel until it's flush with the end of the aluminum blade. Now move the blocks underneath the tongue and groove joint under the bottom half of the blade. Overlap the top half onto the bottom half and make sure the sections are flush. Insert 2 square nuts into the middle channel and slide them near the factory marks on the blade. Insert 2 square nuts into the top channel and slide them over near the factory marks on the blade. Align the inner side of the slide hinge to the factory mark on the blade. Keeping the edge of the slide hinge in line with its mark, move the square nuts so they line up with the holes and insert the Allen bolts into them. Tighten all bolts. Use hex head bolts for the top half. Tighten all bolts and repeat this procedure for the other hinge. Making sure the rubber blade is flush with the aluminum, drill a 3/16 inch pilot hole on the 4 factory marks. Drill only through the first layer of aluminum and just into the rubber. Now run a self-drilling Phillips head screw into each of those holes. Drill a 5/16 inch hole into the 4 factory marks on the tongue and groove joint. Make sure you only drill through the first 2 layers on the back wall of the blade and not into the front wall. Insert self-threading hex head bolts into each of these holes. Hang the assembled blade onto the push frame. Insert the keyhole pins to lock it into transport position. Thread a hex nut onto the stud end of the blade marker. Insert 2 square nuts into the channel and position the handle into place. Insert the stud end of the blade marker into the outside square nut of the handle. Line up the other square nut and insert a hex head bolt and tighten securely. Then tighten the jam nut. Repeat this procedure for the other side. Place metal end plate on outside of rubber box end and align it to the side of the plow. Fasten it with 4 long hex head self-threading bolts. And tighten the bolts evenly until the rubber compresses to the blade. Repeat this procedure for the other side.
The installation is now complete. Your plow is ready for the winter season.